Part 13. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 121. Nalanzu died in Master's hands. Doesn't this mean that Master is stronger than Nalanzu? Hua Shimiao didn't care why Su Yang wanted to kill Nalanzu. At this time, he was very surprised by Su Yang's strength. At first, Hua Shimiao thought that his master was just a martial arts master. After all, he was young. But now he knows that the master's strength can already defeat masters like Nalanzu. But even so, I'm afraid master can't be the master of the Medicine King Palace. Hua Shimiao shook his head, and then said proudly, "Master, as an elder, he will be sure of success. Besides, master is young and has a lot of room for growth. Maybe he can really become the master of the palace in the future. Becoming a disciple to Su Yang is the most correct decision I have ever made in my life." Su Yang was very strong. As a disciple, Hua Shimiao was naturally proud. At the same time, he was determined to hug the big tree of his master tightly. After parting ways with Hua Shimiao, Su Yang drove directly to Nalan Mingj without hesitation. He could tell that Nalan Mingj had a good impression of Li Feixuan. In addition, Nalan Mingj signaled Song Liwa and the black slave to kill him. It can be seen that the person behind the conspiracy must be Nalan Mingj. Now that most of the strong men in the Nalan family have been killed by him, Su Yang has no worries and will naturally not let Nalan Mingj see the sun tomorrow. Previously, when Nalan Mingj left, Su Yang left a trace of aura on him, and Nalan Mingj couldn't run away even if he wanted to. Su Yang drove a red Ferrari, followed the scent, and soon found Nalan Mingj. At this moment, Nalan Mingj did not return to his manor, but hid in a villa in the suburbs. Not long ago, after he came out of Yangtze Lake, he called his grandmother Song Liwa, but the call never got through. Then Nalan Mingj asked the Nalan family's men to search everywhere, but they could never find Grandma and the black slave. This gave Nalan Mingj a bad feeling in his heart. Could it be that Grandma and the black slave had made a mistake and something unexpected had happened? It shouldn't be. Su Yang is just a loser, and no one in the Su family can stop Grandma and the black slave, so they will definitely not miss. But why can't we contact him? Could it be that he met a master from country D? Nalan Mingj felt that this possibility was very high, and he suddenly felt a sense of crisis. Therefore, he did not dare to return to the manor, fearing that the masters of country D would come and massacre him, so he hid alone in a courtyard in the suburbs. This courtyard is in a very remote location, just an ordinary farmhouse. After staying in the bustling urban area for a long time, it is a good choice to come here to relax occasionally. Nalan Mingj often invites a few friends to come to the courtyard to have an open-air barbecue and chat. But this time he came to the other courtyard to escape for his life. Grandma's phone probably just ran out of battery. With the strength of her and the black slave, the Nalan family's men will definitely not be able to find them. Well, that must be the case. There must be nothing wrong with Grandma and the black slave, and they will take the initiative to contact me soon. Nalan Mingj sat in the yard, comforting himself. Brake. At this moment, there was a sudden sound of brakes coming from outside, and then two headlights shone over. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang stepped out of the car, his eyes fell on Nalan Mingj, and he raised the corners of his mouth and said, "Nalan Mingj, the environment here is good, you are very good at choosing a cemetery for yourself." Su Yang. When Nalan Mingj saw Su Yang, his expression suddenly changed. He stood up suddenly and asked vigilantly, "What are you doing here?" He. Su Yang approached Nalan Mingj step by step, with a smile on his face, and said coldly, "Nalan Mingj, you have plotted against me several times, what do you want me to do?" "You know everything," Nalan Mingj gritted his teeth and said, "Did Su Jinghan tell you?" "I wasn't sure at first. I only knew that the person behind it was Mr. Su." Su Yang's face darkened and he said sternly, but now, I can be sure. Nalan Mingj knew very well that he was born weak, and even if Su Yang was a playboy, he would not be able to defeat him. So he didn't run, but calmed down, met Su Yang's gaze, and admitted, "Yes, I was the one who instigated Su Jinghan to target you all these years, and recently I was the one who conspired with him to kill you. But so what if you know? My grandma is from the Song family in Kyoto, and she lives in Jiangbei now." Nalan Mingj was confident and threatened, "If you dare to touch me, my grandma will definitely not let you go. When the time comes, not only you, but also your Su family will be implicated. Su Yang, I advise you to be sensible and get out," Nalan Mingj said with a cold smile. "He. Are you still trying to scare me with your grandma?" When Su Yang heard this, he immediately smiled and said, "Nalan Mingj, to be honest, your grandma and the old man beside her have stayed in my house forever." "What do you mean?" Nalan Mingj frowned. "Don't you understand? They are already dead." Su Yang raised the corner of his mouth and added, "I killed them." "This is impossible, Su Yang, you are just a playboy, how can you be my grandma's opponent?" Nalan Mingj couldn't believe it. "Haha, go down below and ask your grandma." Su Yang was too lazy to talk nonsense to Nalan Mingj, so he suddenly grabbed the other person's neck. Su Yang, you can't kill me. My grandfather is not Nalan Zhu, but the leader of the Wuying sect of the ancient martial arts section. If you kill me, you will definitely be retaliated by the Shadowla sect until you die." Nalan Mingj panicked and said with a trembling voice, "Please don't kill me. I won't tell anyone what happened tonight, and I won't hold you accountable. I'll just pretend that nothing happened, ugh." Click. Before Nalan Mingj could finish his words, his neck was broken by Su Yang's bare hands with a crisp sound of bone breaking. Subsequently, blood flowed from the corner of Nalan Mingj's mouth, his neck crooked, and he lost his life. So much nonsense. With cold eyes, Su Yang threw away Nalan Mingj's body and drove away without even using the corpse-dissolving water. This is a suburb with few people, so there is no need to use corpse-dissolving water. So far, most of the Nalan family were killed by Su Yang, and the murderer who instigated Su Jinghan was also dead. The feud between the Nalan family could come to an end. The masters of Country D, from Ling Hu at the peak of Huajin to Tang Shangkao in the late stage of Grand Master, were all killed by Su Yang, and they must have stopped for a while. Even if Country D knew that Tang Shangkao and others were dead, they would not suspect Su Yang. Naturally, Su Yang did not need to pay too much attention. Next, Su Yang can concentrate on training and strive to improve his strength as soon as possible to deal with the mysterious strong man who has evil intentions against the Su family. Soon, Su Yang returned to the riverside villa, sat cross-legged and prepared to practice. With his previous experience, he called the White Cat and asked the White Cat to help him protect the law. Someone came to remind him. "Don't worry, Master, I will protect you," the White Cat responded, and an ethereal girl's voice sounded in Su Yang's mind. "Well, your current strength is comparable to that of a mid-stage master. With you here, I can rest assured." Su Yang smiled and nodded, his eyes falling on the White Cat. Suddenly he remembered an inappropriate question and couldn't help but ask, "White Cat, you are a teddy? I heard people say that teddy dogs are very lustful and irritate the air everywhere. Will you do the same?" Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 122. The sudden question made the White Cat shy. His voice was full of shyness. "Master, what you are talking about is a male teddy. It is a female. It is different. If you don't look at the White Cat's body and just listen to the voice, you will definitely be excited. With such a clean and beautiful girl voice, which man can handle it?" But knowing that the White Cat was a teddy, Su Yang was not excited. After all, there are some things that can be done across genders, but definitely not across races. Su Yang just asked casually and did not continue the topic after receiving the answer. Because the white cat's voice is so tender, I always feel guilty when talking to it about this, so I'd better practice peacefully. However, just when Su Yang wanted to practice, a voice message suddenly came to WeChat. After clicking it, Li Feixuan's voice came from the room. Su Yang, you don't have to go to class tomorrow, can you go to work with me? Haha. My wife started to take the initiative to ask me out. It seems that I performed well tonight. Su Yang smiled, then asked curiously, honey, aren't you in school? Why are you working? Is it because your grandfather doesn't give you pocket money? If you don't have money to spend, come to me. You are my fiancé. I definitely can't let you have no money to spend. Let's do this. I will use the money from going to high-end clubs to support you. But, my wife, I may need this physiological need in the future. Come and help me solve it. Su Yang smiled playfully. Go to hell, it's no longer a tune. I just want to train myself when I work. Besides, this is also my dream. Will you stay with me? Come with me, of course. What kind of work do you do? Keep it a secret. You'll know tomorrow. Good night. Yeah, and Su Yang was very curious, but cultivation was more important now. After saying good night to Li Feixuan, he put down his phone. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang sat cross-legged, with his eyes slightly closed, and began to run the 9-nether prison suppression technique, and soon entered a state of cultivation. The white cat, on the other hand, watched the surroundings vigilantly, protecting Su Yang. At the same time, Jiangbei was in chaos because someone found Nalan Ming's body in the suburbs. Subsequently, the bodies of Nalan Zhu and Nalan Yi were also discovered one after another. The Nalan family, one of the 4 major families in Jiangbei, had 3 of its most important people die in succession. This incident caused a sensation. Did the Nalan family offend someone? Why did 3 people suddenly die? Nalan Zhu is a master of martial arts. Who has the ability to kill him? Now the Nalan family exists in name only. I'm afraid it will be reshuffled. The Dong family, which is also one of the 4 major families, has begun to take over the Nalan family's property. It is a pity that the Nalan family's decades of foundation have been ruined. The people who didn't understand the reason felt sorry for the Nalan family while discussing. In addition to the Dong family, other families also took action against the Nalan family and quickly eroded the Nalan family's assets. After tonight, there will be no more Nalan family in Jiangbei. But the 3 families, the Su family, the Li family, and the Wang family, stood still. Because they knew that there was still a young master alive in the Nalan family, and that was Nalan Wudao. Many years ago, Nalan Wudao was selected by the ancient martial arts section. No one knows what his current strength is now. Besides, there is also a Nalan family in Kyoto, and the Jiangbei branch can only be regarded as a small branch. If the Nalan family in Kyoto learns the news and sends people here, those families who cannibalized the Nalan family will definitely be retaliated against. Therefore, some families did not dare to take action blatantly, some watched secretly, and some secretly nibbled away. For a time, Jiangbei's undercurrent surged. At this time, Ziun Mountain, Shadowless sect. Most of the ancient martial arts sects occupy famous mountains as the basis for establishing their own sects. The greater the reputation of the mountain it occupies, the stronger the sect is. In the world of ancient martial arts, the most influential one is the sect located on the top of Mount Tai. The place of Zen is blessed with profound blessings, and overlooking the famous mountains in the world is daunting. Among the many famous mountains, Ziun Mountain seems insignificant. But as long as they occupy famous mountains, it shows that Wuying sect is not a small sect. At this time, a young man with starry eyes and sword-browed eyebrows, wearing a smart outfit, looked down at the clouds in front of him with an angry face. This person looks to be in his 20s or 30s, his appearance is somewhat similar to Nalan Mingj, and he exudes a cold aura. He is the eldest son of the Nalan family, Nalan Wudeo. Nalan Wudeo already knew the news about Nalan's family. Although he came to Ziun Mountain since he was a child, his relationship with his grandfather and two younger brothers was good. They usually communicate through mobile phones, send text messages and video calls to each other. Although they are thousands of miles apart, they can feel the family affection that is thicker than water. Therefore, after learning that his grandfather and younger brother had been killed, Nalan Wudeo was furious. Tonight, I will return to Jiangbei. No matter who that person is, I, Nalan Wudeo, will kill him. Nalan Wudeo gritted his teeth, strong murderous intent emerged in his eyes, and his breathing became unsteady. No way. At this time, a middle-aged man in a robe came over. He was probably in his 50s and said calmly, "You are currently at a critical moment of breakthrough. Don't let this affect your emotions, otherwise you will regret it for the rest of your life." "Master," Nalan Wudeo said angrily, "my grandfather and two younger brothers were killed. I hate it." The man in the robe is Ji Ping, an elder of Wuying sect and the master of Nalan Wudeo. "I can understand, but the sect competition is coming soon, and you must enter the realm of master before then, otherwise you will not be able to get a good ranking." Ji Ping reminded, "Wudeo, you know your identity clearly. If you don't achieve certain achievements, the sect master will not recognize you as his grandson, and he will not be able to recognize you. Over the years, you have suffered so much in Wuying sect and been looked down upon. This sect competition is your only chance to get ahead. My master expects you to make a big splash, so you have to cherish it," Ji Ping advised. "Master, I know everything you said, but if I don't avenge myself, my heart won't be at peace," Nalan Wudeo gritted his teeth. "Although Nalan Ziu is not your biological grandfather, he has raised you for many years. Nalan Yi and Nalan Mingj are your biological brothers. It is understandable that you have feelings for them. However, Wudeo, have you ever thought about it? Nalan Ziu is a martial arts master, and the person who killed him must be of this level. Even if you go to Jiangbei, what's the use?" Ji Ping then said, "It's better to let my teacher take a trip for you, and you can practice well in Ziun Mountain." "So, thank you so much, Master." Nalan Wudeo clasped his fists respectfully, very grateful. "You're welcome, disciple. When I go to Jiangbei this time, apart from helping you avenge me, I have one more thing to do." Ji Ping smiled softly and said, "A few days ago, my master got a favor from a big shot in the land of Fengchan and promised to kill a man named Su Shenbing for him. This time I went to Jiangbei and got the job done smoothly. Disciple, remember to practice hard and strive to break through to the master level as soon as possible." After leaving a few words, Ji Ping jumped down Ziun Mountain and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 123. The next day. Early morning. Su Yang ended his cultivation state and raised a smile on his lips. After a night of hard work, he finally refined all the evil energy in his dantian and reached the 4th level of Qi training, much faster than expected. Not only that, Su Yang also absorbed 10 energy stones, completely stabilizing the 4th level of Qi training. Now if he encounters a black slave in the later stage of Grandmaster, he will be confident of defeating him, even without using blood sacrifice, or even crushing him. When I reached the 4th level of Qi training, my spiritual energy has more than doubled than before. I think I am invincible at the level of a Grandmaster. Although I have never seen the peak of a Grandmaster, I am sure that I will not be my opponent." Su Yang condensed a ball of spiritual energy in his palm, then dispersed it, saying calmly, however, I can't be careless. There should be a higher realm than the ancient martial arts master. Immortal brother Xiantian, the younger brother of his younger brother, always hides his strength when he is not sure of his opponent's strength, so that he can always stay in a safe range. Next, Su Yang did not get up, but came up with the idea of energy stones. In his last life, he traveled across the immortal realm, and his ability to arrange formations and refine talismans was unparalleled. Su Yang doesn't consider formations now, but talismans can be refined for self-defense. Although the energy stone is only a low-grade spiritual stone, in his hands, it can become a powerful talisman. If you refine an attack talisman and use an energy stone, it will not be a problem to kill the master in the early stage. If it is a defensive talisman, it can withstand the full strength of the master's midterm attack. Just do it. Su Yang did not hesitate, and immediately took out all the remaining 8 energy stones. But Su Yang felt that one energy stone contained too little spiritual energy, so he refined 2 energy stones into a talisman. In fact, the important thing about a talisman is not the paper, but the intricate spiritual energy patterns. Yellow paper is just a carrier. Su Yang didn't have time to buy this thing, so he casually sealed the spiritual energy pattern inside his socks. The black socks had no pattern on them. After the spiritual energy patterns covered them, they quickly disappeared. After that, Su Yang used the same technique to make 3 sock talismans. 2 of them used 2 energy stones respectively, one for attack and one for defense. The other sock was so powerful. Su Yang directly used 4 energy stones to create a super powerful attack talisman with amazing explosive power. Su Yang calculated that it should be stronger than the full blow after he performed the blood sacrifice. 4 energy stones were the limit that Su Yang could fuse, otherwise he would have made a talisman with 8 energy stones. After making it, Su Yang put away the black socks. Among them, the 2 socks containing 2 energy stones had little effect on Su Yang. He planned to give one to Li Feiquan and the other to Wang Fuegui. Although this guy is not a good person, his friendship with young Master Su is extremely pure. It's time to go to work with my wife. Su Yang smiled, then stood up and dialed Li Feiquan's number. He smiled softly and said, "Honey, is it time to go?" "Not now, we have to wait until evening. Su Yang, King Day, and I are doing healthcare sap. I will contact you in the evening." After Li Feiquan finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Su Yang wanted to ask her what her job was, but she didn't have time to ask, and she became even more curious. But simply, "We will find out in the evening. Young Master Su, my good brother, come out quickly." Su Yang put away his cell phone and was about to practice, when Wang Fuegui's voice suddenly came from outside. "Grandma Lise. There are always unscrupulous people who want to stop me from practicing." Su Yang walked downstairs slightly unhappy, saw Wang Fuegui in the living room, and asked, "Young Master Wang, how did you know I'm here?" "Uncle Su told me." Wang Fuegui chuckled, then pulled Su Yang to leave the living room. "Worry, why are you so impatient so early in the morning?" Su Yang asked doubtfully. "Hey, young Master Su, Xiao Tiantian agreed to meet with me today. You are my best brother. I want to take you to witness this sacred moment." Wang Fuegui was particularly excited, and his longing for this meeting could be heard in his voice. "Damn, why did you come to me so early in the morning just because of this stupid thing?" Su Yang said unhappily. "How can this be nonsense? Young Master Su, I have real feelings this time." Wang Fuegui seemed to be a young man in love, and said with a silly smile, "You don't know how beautiful Xiao Tianatian's voice is, so intoxicating. I swiped dozens of W's in her live broadcast room before she would agree to follow me. Meet. Does the sound nice? How nice it sounds. Does my dog have a nice voice?" Su Yang glanced at Wang Fuegui with disdain and said calmly, Look at your worthless look. After all, you are also an outstanding talent who has followed me in high-end clubs for many years. Isn't it just to meet a female netizen? Why are you so excited? Young Master Su, how can those women in the club be compared to Xiao Tiantian? You don't understand the feeling of falling in love at all. Wang Fugui pulled Su Yang and urged, let's go, young Master Su, don't be late, I want to leave a good impression on Xiao Tiantian. You can just go by yourself, why are you holding me back? I'm nervous and need you to give me courage, Wang Fugui said with a blushing face. Haha, I'm so handsome, aren't you afraid that I will steal your limelight? Su Yang joked. Don't be afraid. Don't bully your friends' wives. I know you are not that kind of person, Wang Fugui said seriously. A friend's wife should not be bullied. My biggest idol in this life is Cao. Su Yang said casually. Wang Fugui knew that Su Yang was joking, so he stopped talking and pulled Su Yang away. Su Yang didn't refuse anymore. He could see that young Master Wang was serious about it this time. As young Master Wang's good brother, I must try to suppress the situation. In this way, Su Yang and Wang Fugui drove to the Starbucks coffee shop. Su Yang was about to walk in, but Wang Fugui pulled Su Yang and said seriously, wait a minute, young Master Su, Xiao Tiantian is already here. She is on the left near the window. She told me that she is wearing pink clothes. The long skirt is easy to find. First check to see if my hair is messy. The first impression is too important to be careless. Su Yang gave Wang Fugui a symbolic look, and then said, no chaos, you are very handsome. Let's go in quickly. I want to see what the little Tiantian in your mouth looks like. Haha, Xiao Tiantian has such a nice voice and looks pretty good. It will definitely surprise you. Wang Fugui smiled proudly, then walked ahead and entered the coffee shop. Su Yang followed closely behind. After the two came to the coffee shop, Wang Fugui received a WeChat voice message from Xiao Tiantian. Dear Gigi, you're here. People are like Wang Fushi, waiting for you in a hurry. The sound is indeed nice. Wang Fugui seemed to have been given a shot of chicken blood, and his whole body was excited. Immediately, he couldn't wait to look to the left near the window, but the smile on his face froze for an instant, and he was dumbfounded as if he had been struck by lightning. Su Yang then looked over and was dumbfounded. He couldn't help but ask questions from his soul. What the hell is this? Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 124. At this moment. Starbucks coffee shop. The girl sitting on the left near the window is really a top performer. She weighs at least 300 pounds, has a fat head and big ears, and her face is covered with acne. Such a big piece of meat was sitting on a chair. When Su Yang saw it, he couldn't help but worry about the chair. What's even weirder is that the girl is wearing a long, light yellow dress and has fluffy hair. She seems to have been dressed up carefully for this date. Those hot flaming red lips and blush like a monkey's butt all highlight her personality. Excellent. There are thousands of flowers in bloom, and this is definitely one of the most exquisite and exotic flowers. Su Yang never judged a girl by her appearance. He believed that character was more important than appearance, and he could never judge a girl by her appearance. However, after seeing the girl in the cafe, Su Yang instantly denied himself. Actually, appearance is quite important. Wang Fugui's expression was even more exciting than Su Yang's, and he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Su, young Master Su, my eyesight is not very good. Please help me take a look. What is that thing sitting by the window? Wang Fugui asked in a low voice, for fear of being heard by the other party. Haha, Mr. Wang, that should be your little Tiantian. I didn't expect your taste to be so weird. Su Yang smiled softly and said, go and say hello to her. I'm looking forward to witnessing a love that goes both ways. Run to the devil. Damn, I've seen her photos. This is so different from the photos. It's a world of difference. Let's put it this way, if I report her for fraud now, the judge will rule in favor of me. Wang Fugui had a complicated expression and complained through gritted teeth. At this time, the fat girl in the distance glanced at Wang Fugui, then took out her mobile phone and asked in a low voice, "Gigi, are you here? Who is the handsome guy with small eyes in black short sleeves at the entrance of the coffee shop? You." Ding dong. Wang Fugui received the WeChat message immediately. He quickly looked at his clothes and found that he was wearing black short sleeves. His scalp was numb with fear. Immediately afterwards, he hurriedly took off his black short-sleeved shirt, threw it on the ground and stepped on it a few times, and then replied with a voice, "It's not me, you got the wrong person." After saying that, Wang Fugui didn't dare to stay, turned around and ran out of the Starbucks cafe. "Worry, what are you doing taking off your clothes? You're stupid." Su Yang complained with a dark face, then turned to follow him out, but suddenly noticed that the fat girl by the window had a faint smile on her lips. This smile is very unusual. Su Yang had an indescribable feeling and frowned slightly. Then he took a closer look at the fat girl and made an unexpected discovery. Fake. This fat girl is fake. Wrong. To be precise, she is not fat, it's just that she has thick silicone on her body, which makes her look bloated. Besides, the girl is not ugly. The makeup on her face should be a deliberate disguise. She deliberately looks ugly. Su Yang stared at it, and with his eyesight, he could naturally see the girl's true face. Although this girl is not stunningly beautiful, she is by no means ugly. She can be said to be above average. And the most important thing is that the girl is in her 20s and is actually an ancient warrior in the Huajin realm. This is an outstanding figure in the city, both in terms of talent and strength. Wang Fugui said that Xiao Tiantian is a voice actor and anchor. Will a master of Huajin become an anchor? Something weird. Su Yang raised a playful smile on his lips, strode over, and decided to clarify the matter. Wang Fugui is young Master Su's good brother, and Su Yang doesn't want anything to happen to his good brother. After a few breaths, Su Yang came to a position near the window and sat directly opposite the fat girl. He didn't say a word, just looked at the fat girl with a smile on his face. The fat girl paused obviously, then looked at Su Yang expectantly, and asked sweetly, "Little brother, are you my gooey gooey?" Su Yang didn't answer. "You must be my noble brother. Wow, you are taller and more handsome than in the photo. I like it so much." "Hee, are you satisfied with me?" the fat girl said, blinking her eyes and acting coquettishly. Su Yang remained silent. "Brother Gigi, thank you for the gift you gave me. In fact, last time you went to school to find me, it's not that I didn't want to see you, but I was just not mentally prepared. This time I am ready. Shall we go to the hotel tonight?" the fat girl coyly said shyly. Su Yang still didn't speak. Brother Gigi, do you dislike me and think I'm ugly and fat?" The fat girl stood up and said aggrievedly, "You in that case, then, shall I leave?" At this time, Su Yang, who had been silent all this time, spoke up and said calmly, "Have you had enough acting? If so, sit down and have a good chat." "What do you mean?" the fat girl frowned. Hee. Su Yang smiled playfully, "You are an ancient warrior in the realm of energy. You put silicone on your body to gain weight and deliberately look ugly. Is this fun?" The fat girl's expression suddenly turned cold. She stared at Su Yang with burning eyes. At the same time, she sat down and said in a deep voice, "How can you, an ordinary person, tell this? What do you think?" While asking back, Su Yang's eyes flashed, and a terrifying aura suddenly emitted from his body, and he crushed the fat girl away. Zone, Grandmaster. The fat girl's face suddenly changed. She looked at Su Yang with eyes full of respect and said in a trembling voice, "I don't know that you are a master. I have offended you many times before. Please forgive me." Immediately afterwards, the fat girl wanted to stand up and salute Su Yang, but was interrupted by Su Yang raising his hand. Then, Su Yang went straight to the point and asked in a cold voice, "No more nonsense, who are you and what is your purpose in approaching young Master Wang? I dare not hide it from you, senior. My junior's name is Lu Shushan. He was born in a small family in Jiangbei. He went to Kyoto when he was 10 years old and only returned to Jiangbei in the past 2 days." Fat girl Lu Shushan answered truthfully, "The reason why I dressed up like this is just to tease Wang Fuegui." Lu Shushan. When Su Yang heard this, some fragmentary memories from his early years suddenly flashed through his mind. In my impression, there was indeed a little girl named Lu Shushan in Jiangbei. At that time, young Master Su often led a group of children to play, including Lu Shushan. If young Master Su remembers correctly, Lu Shushan and Wang Fuegui had a very good relationship. They were always tired of being together, and they even made a private engagement for life. This happened a long time ago, so Su Yang didn't recognize Lu Shushan even with his venomous eyes. "It turns out to be you." Su Yang smiled, and then said curiously, "Lu Shushan, you and Wang Fuegui had such a good relationship when they were young. They are childhood sweethearts. Why do you want to tease him when you come to Jiangbei this time? Look, our brother Fuegui was so scared that his face turned red. White. He deserves it." Lu Shushan gritted her teeth and said harshly, "We haven't seen each other for 10 years. When I first came to Jiangbei, I deliberately walked by him. I walked 3 times and he didn't notice me. He obviously forgot about me. A heartless man. When I left Jiangbei, he promised me that he would never forget me for the rest of his life. Well, it seems that this girl still has feelings for Wang Fuegui, so Wang Fuegui didn't recognize her, so she played this whole trick to tease Wang Fuegui." After Su Yang figured out the whole story, he smiled softly and said, "Lu Shushan, do you know who I am?" "I don't know, the senior must be a young talent from the ancient martial arts section." Lu Shushan faced Su Yang with a very respectful attitude. Su Yang shook his head, then smiled and said, "I'm Su Yang, we met when we were kids." Su Yang. When Lu Shushan learned Su Yang's identity, she was immediately surprised and said in shock, "This is impossible. Although I am not in Jiangbei, I heard that young Master Su is an out-and-out dandy, and Wang Fuegui is with him. You are a bad learner, how can you be young Master Su? Etc. What's the meaning? It's okay to call me a dandy, but what the hell, why did Wang Fuegui learn from me? Damn it. Wang Fuegui, this piece of shit, he was obviously the one who led me into bad ways, okay." Su Yang couldn't help but curse, but after all, he and Wang Fuegui were brothers, and the girl in front of him had a crush on Wang Fuegui. He couldn't help but discredit Wang Fuegui in front of her, so he chose not to refute. In the end, I was the only one who shouldered everything. Su Yang sighed in his heart, turned to look at Lu Shushan, and smiled softly, "Didn't you hear Wang Fuegui call me young Master Su? I don't need to lie to you about this kind of thing. What I mainly want to say is that you and I haven't seen each other for 10 years, and you haven't recognized me, so it's normal for Wang Fuegui not to recognize you. Don't be sad. In fact, he has you in his heart." Su Yang smoothed things over. "This is different. It has been 10 years and I can recognize him at a glance. Why can't he recognize me?" Lu Shushan gritted her teeth and said, still very angry, "In the past 10 years, I have been practicing hard in Kyoto, just to one day break through to the realm of Huajin and come to him, but he is addicted to high-end clubs. It's so abominable. Damn it. Unexpectedly, Lu Shushan got the script of an infatuated woman. Su Yang paused and then said something good for his brother. Lu Shushan, Wang Fuegui actually has you in his heart. He missed you too much and felt uncomfortable, so he went to the club to have fun in an attempt to numb himself. Really? When Lu Shushan heard this, she suddenly showed a hint of surprise. Su Yang nodded and said nonsense seriously. When he went to the club, all he thought about was you. Although the technicians in the club changed countless batches, in his heart, the technicians who accompanied him had a common name, that it's you, Lu Shushan, who has engraved your name in his soul and will never forget it forever. Su Yang continued, it's a pity that too much time has passed, women have changed in their 18th year, and you have become more and more beautiful, so that's why he didn't recognize you. You shouldn't blame Wang Fuegui and Lu Shushan. You should blame yourself. Who made you look so good looking? Su Yang seriously blamed Lu Shushan, and couldn't help but give himself a big thumbs up. Mr. Wang, my good brother, I can only help you so far. So that's it? It seems that I wrongly blamed him. After listening to Su Yang's words, Lu Shushan showed a shy expression, obviously believing it. After a pause for a few seconds, Lu Shushan suddenly looked at Su Yang and asked doubtfully, Senior, you are a martial arts master in your 20s. Don't call me senior. We are old friends. Just call me young Master Su. Su Yang warned, also, almost no one knows my strength. Don't leak it, so as not to cause trouble to me. Yes, young Master Su, I understand that truly capable people keep a low profile. I won't tell anyone. Lu Shushan nodded seriously. Su Yang nodded lightly, then smiled and said, okay, Lu Shushan, Wang Fuegui is still outside, would you like to go and talk to him now? No, let's do it next time. I'm too ugly today. Lu Shushan pleaded in a low voice, by the way, young Master Su, don't tell Wang Fuegui that Xiao Tiantian is Lu Shushan. I'm afraid he will be angry with me if he knows that I am teasing him. Damn it! So caring and humble? Did this piece of shit like Wang Fuegui save the galaxy in his previous life, and yet such an outstanding girl actually likes him? Well, I won't tell him. Let's talk about it when we have time. Su Yang stood up, said goodbye to Lu Shushan, and walked out of the coffee shop. Soon, Wang Fuegui, who was waiting anxiously outside, came over and asked hurriedly, Worry, Mr. Su, what were you talking about with that fat girl? Why did you talk for so long? Ha ha. Su Yang smiled and said, I didn't talk about anything else. I just talked about your advantages. She was very happy after hearing this and said that she would pursue you. Damn, young Master Su, I have no enmity with you, why do you want to harm me? Wang Fuegui said with a dark face. You know shit. Su Yang glanced at Wang Fuegui, then asked tentatively, do you still remember Lu Shushan, who was privately engaged to you for life when you were a child? Lu Shushan? Who is it? Why don't I remember it? Wang Fuegui looked confused. Damn it. Just now, he boasted that Wang Fuegui had engraved Lu Shushan's name deep in his soul. It's so lucky for you that you forgot about it. Hey, online dating is risky, so you need to be careful when going out. Today I admit defeat. Young Master Su, please don't mention the word sweet in front of me in the future. Now I am allergic to the word sweet and my whole body gets numb when I hear it. Wang Fuegui sighed, and then seemed to think of something, and suddenly his face was full of excitement. By the way, Mr. Su, last time you said that you were not afraid of the scumbag having an affair, but you were afraid of the young woman turning 30. I think it makes sense. Recently I found a WeChat group full of high-quality young women. It's so cool. Wang Fuegui showed a playful smile. Young Master Su, do you want to join the group? I'll pull you in. Those young women will definitely dazzle you. A group of young women? Is there such a WeChat group? Su Yang paused and then said, how can there be so many young women gathered together? Those young women are all fake. They deliberately used this identity as a gimmick to increase their own worth. Just tell me how much it costs per night, that's it. What? They are all genuine young women, accurately positioned and innocent, Wang Fuegui said firmly. Su Yang asked curiously, really? What kind of group? Kindergarten parent group. Urban super dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 125. Kindergarten, parent group. Damn it. What the hell? Su Yang gave Wang Fuegui a dark look and simply didn't bother to remind him, letting Lu Shushan torture him. Thinking of this, Su Yang planned to say goodbye to Wang Fuegui. It was time for him to go back to practice and go to work with his wife in the evening. But before leaving, Su Yang looked at Wang Fuegui and smiled softly, young Master Wang, I have a good thing for you. Haha, young Master Su, are you trying to please me and beg me to get you into the kindergarten parent group? Wang Fuegui was still immersed in the joy of the young women, and smiled cheerfully, you are too polite. You are my good brother. Good things are meant to be shared. Even if you don't give me a gift, I will still pull you in group. Although he said this, Wang Fuegui changed his tone, his eyes lit up, and he asked expectantly, young Master Su, what gift do you want to give me? A little thing for self-defense. Su Yang smiled, then reached out to Su Huai and took out a black sock. What the hell? Wang Fuegui's eyes fell on the socks, and he said with repulsion, damn it, Mr. Su, you are so poor that you are crazy, or you are stupid, or you think I am stupid. How can anyone give socks as a gift? You are insulting me, young Master Wang. You know a thing or two. Su Yang explained seriously, this sock is not simple. It can save your life at critical moments. Don't be nagging, just put it away and remember to carry it with you. All right. Wang Fuegui believed in Su Yang. When he heard what Su Yang said, he put his socks on. Although he didn't understand why young Master Su gave him socks, he knew that young Master Su would never harm him. Perhaps this sock was begged by Mr. Su from a certain eminent monk. It was something similar to peace and happiness. But, what kind of eminent monk is so weird that he actually uses socks to make peace blessings? Could it be that contact with the monk's athlete's foot would have a better effect of keeping safe? Forget it, never mind, since young Master Su has spoken, let's take it with him first. Young Master Su, it's almost noon and you haven't eaten yet. Come on, let me treat you. Wang Fuegui thought about the socks for a while, then raised his head and found that Su Yang had left at some point. Then, he noticed that Xiao Tiantian was looking at him with a smile through the glass of the cafe. Depend on. This frightened Wang Fuegui, his face suddenly changed and he ran away. It didn't take long. When Su Yang returned to the riverside villa, he immediately received a text message from Hua Shimiao. Turn out to be. In the past 2 days, Su Qincan and Su Shenbing went to the Jimen black market to guard Su Xiantian, as if they wanted to drink with Su Xiantian to deepen their relationship. Hua Shimiao knew that Su Yang was Su Xiantian, so he sent a text message to remind him. Su Yang smiled and had no intention of going to the Jimen black market to meet his grandfather and father. If he didn't have to, he didn't want to get along with them as Su Xiantian. After all, there was a generation gap. After reading the text message sent by Hua Shimiao, Su Yang noticed that he still had an unread text message, which was actually from his sister. Content: my sister was busy just now. Brother, did anyone bully you in Jiangbei? Did Su Shenbing hit you? If there are, tell me and make them pay the price when I return to Jiangbei. After seeing the text message, Su Yang felt warm in his heart. It's great to have such an old sister. Instead, Su Yang dialed Su Jingguo's mobile phone number, wanting to hear her voice and reminisce about old times. But this time, the call still didn't get through. It's strange. My sister has set a special call reminder for me. I could be contacted at any time before. Why didn't I get through these 2 times? Su Yang frowned, but didn't take it to heart. Maybe my sister is really busy these days. Please wait a few days before contacting her. After putting away his cell phone, Su Yang entered a cultivation state. Before we knew it, night fell. Li Feixuan called and asked Su Yang to pick her up at Li's house. What kind of job does my wife do, and why is she still working night shifts? Su Yang drove to the Li family manor with strong curiosity. Like yesterday, Li Feixuan was already waiting in the parking lot in advance. Today, Li Feixuan is wearing a white ancient-style dress and an exquisite floor-length cloak. Both her makeup and temperament reveal a classic taste. She is so beautiful that she is alluring and beautiful. Honey, are you dressed like this to go to work? Su Yang asked curiously. Li Feixuan got into the passenger seat and urged, let's go quickly, don't be late. Okay. Su Yang became even more curious and wanted to see what his wife did for a living, so he drove quickly away from the Li family manor. At this time, dark place. Li Chunfeng had long noticed that Li Feixuan was here. At first, he was particularly curious as to why his granddaughter looked so beautiful in ancient clothes. Seeing Su Yang pick up Li Feixuan at this moment, Li Chunfeng's old face darkened instantly. Damn it! I came to pick you up yesterday, I come to pick you up today, I come to pick you up every day, you are really young, can't you just rest for one night? What good will it do to your health if you do too much of that kind of thing? Also, you are wearing ancient clothes when you go to check out a hotel. Are you trying to play with uniforms? Feixuan, you are so unreserved. What's even more outrageous is that you actually said you were going to be late. What do you think you are doing? Are you going to work, and are you afraid of being late? What's wrong with being late? Are you so impatient? I'm not a good girl. Forget it, let them worry about it. It would be a good thing if they could give me a grandson as soon as possible. Li Chunfeng was about to go crazy, his face was extremely ugly, he sighed and said, hey, it seems that helping Su Yang practice martial arts will be put on the agenda as soon as possible. I will go to Su Yang tomorrow with the magic pill. After some hard work, Su Kinkan had compromised and promised Li Chunfeng that if Su Yang could become a martial arts master, then Su Yang and Li Feixuan's first child could be named Li. A martial arts master. In the city, this is a super strong person. Li Chunfeng originally disagreed, but Su Kinkan was very resolute, so Li Chunfeng had no choice but to agree. I hope Su Yang's talent is not too bad. Li Chunfeng murmured to himself and returned to the Li family manor. Half an hour later, Su Yang and Li Feixuan came to the famous internet celebrity bridge in Jiangbei. This bridge is 1 kilometer long, with bright lights at night and artificial fountains. The beautiful scenery has attracted many internet celebrities to check in, so it has become popular all over the internet. At this moment, Su Yang and Li Feixuan stood on the bridge, and there were not many people around. Honey, can you tell me now, what is your job and why do you come here so late at night? Su Yang finally couldn't help it anymore and asked. Of course, I didn't want to hide it from you. Li Feixuan raised her beautiful hand, gathered the hair in front of her forehead, put it behind her ears, and then smiled and said, actually, I am a. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 126. Actually, I'm a dance teacher. Li Feixuan paused, then turned to tell her profession, seeming a little embarrassed. Dance instructor. Su Yang smiled softly and said, it scared me to death. I thought you were a network anchor. What happened to the network anchor? Li Feixuan asked doubtfully. Nothing. Su Yang smiled, and then said with a smile, dance teacher is a good profession, I like it, but I didn't expect, wife, can you dance? Certainly. When mentioning her major, Li Feixuan was immediately confident and said with a confident smile, I have been studying dance for more than 10 years, okay. Dancing is my biggest hobby. Awesome, Su Yang praised, then asked with a smile, honey, what kind of dance are you good at? Chinese classical dance. Awesome, you are worthy of being my wife. I like dancing with ancient charm. I love you so much. Su Yang looked at Li Feixuan, admiring the girl even more, and then asked, since you are a dance teacher, why are you coming to the internet celebrity bridge so late? My grandfather doesn't want me to dance. He thinks dancing is useless and dance teachers don't get much salary, but I just want to make money with my own abilities. Concubine Li Xian smiled and said, so, I held a dance training class without telling my family. But my training class has been established for 2 months and has only admitted 4 or 5 students. Recently, there are no more people to sign up. Speaking of this, Li Feixuan smiled bitterly and said, so I plan to record a dancing video to promote my training class. The internet celebrity bridge is a place with many classical elements and is beautiful. It is just suitable for use as a stage. Li Feixuan paused and was slightly shy, but there will be passers-by here. I'm afraid that dancing will attract onlookers. That would be too embarrassing. Su Yang, you come with me. We will be embarrassed together. Ha ha. Su Yang smiled and said, honey, you have social fears. You shouldn't. Aren't you a dance teacher? Don't you usually dance in front of students? Why are you afraid of being watched? That's different. Students are students, and passers-by are passers-by. Li Feixuan gritted her teeth and said, Su Yang, will you stay with me or not? I'll definitely accompany you. You are so beautiful. I'm afraid that when you dance, the male compatriots watching will be unable to control you. I have to be there to protect you, Su Yang said seriously. It's out of tune. Concubine Li glanced at Su Yang, but she felt happy in her heart, and then said, Su Yang, let me start. Here are my cameras and mobile phones. Take them and find a good angle later. I'll take better pictures. Okay. Su Yang took the camera and mobile phone, and then asked curiously, honey, what dance are you going to dance? Does it have a name? Yes, Li Feixuan nodded and said, I plan to do a fan dance. I have slightly improved it on the original basis. The effect should be good. Fan dance painting, the name sounds very beautiful. This should require a fan. Have you brought it? Bring it. Li Feixuan took out a folding fan from her sleeve and said a little timidly, Su Yang, turn on your phone and play the first song on my playlist. I'm going to start dancing. Okay, just jump and leave the other questions to me, Su Yang encouraged. Li Feixuan nodded lightly, then took a few steps forward and stood in the middle of the internet celebrity bridge. For a moment, many passers-by stopped and looked over. Li Feixuan noticed that everyone was looking at her and became even more nervous. Their expressions were a bit unnatural, as if they were about to retreat. At this moment, Su Yang opened the playlist on his mobile phone, and a beautiful ancient-style prelude sounded. The first song is a very popular ancient-style song, Kingsi. As the music sounded, Li Feixuan instantly entered the state, her eyes were different, and there was no trace of timidity. Don't you see me, I'm dancing gracefully. Don't you see me, I'm playing music. If you don't see me, I will sigh with a strand of black hair. When the music started playing, Li Feixuan really got into the mood and started her performance. She was wearing an ancient-style dress with a long cape hanging behind her. Her movements were gentle and her tenderness was vividly expressed. Su Yang was next to him, holding a camera in his hand and squatting down to find an angle. While filming, he couldn't help but praise, "It's beautiful. It seems that my wife has really studied dance. Falling flowers are flying and scattering, confusing my eyes. Smoke waves, riverside, fishing boats, and lights dim tonight. I am still in a state of intoxication, watching the world change with a smile." The beauty sighs, sighing endlessly about the pain of lovesickness, recalling the past. As the song continues, so does Lee Feixiuan's dance, lightly dancing the folding fan, which is full of charm. More and more passers-by stopped to watch, and some even took out their mobile phones to take pictures. "Damn it, this young lady is so beautiful. What kind of divine appearance is this? The dancing is also beautiful, and it fulfills all my fantasies about classical beauties. She must be a big internet celebrity. She came to the internet celebrity bridge to check in. Do any of you know her?" Many passers-by gave rave reviews to Lee Feixiuan and her dance, and several male audience members were reluctant to take their eyes away from Lee Feixiuan. "Dare to stare at my wife blatantly, huh?" This overturned Su Yang's jealousy. He waved his hand and a strong wind blew by in an instant, picking up the dust on the ground and hitting the male passers-by in a targeted manner. "Damn, it's such a strong wind. Ma Dan, my eyes." The few male spectators who were staring at Lee Feixiuan attentively felt miserable. Snort. "It's just a little lesson." Su Yang snorted coldly, and then continued to enjoy his wife's dance. It was at this moment that the highlight moment came. Lee Feixiuan took off her cloak and threw it to Su Yang without leaving a trace. Then her movements were no longer gentle, and the folding fan in her hand seemed to turn into a sharp sword. She danced fast and slow, and her body danced, instantly igniting the audience. Being relegated to immortality, it's hard to stay in the Yao Palace. I go to the mortal world to fight for wine in a red house. I have passionate eyes and have many fights with the ink drop test papers. Pouring the strongest wine in the world, lying in a towering building in Chang'an, I saw who in the world could be as carefree as him. The song continued to play, and Su Yang discovered that it turned out to be a medley of ancient songs. It was Kingxi just now, but now it has been replaced by an immortal. I have to say that both of these songs are very nice, and coupled with Lee Feixiuan's dance, it is a double visual and auditory enjoyment, so that more and more people are watching. Unconsciously, the internet celebrity bridge was full of people, and there were people watching from a distance. They all held their breath and kept quiet. There was no noise at all, for fear of ruining the beauty. About 2 minutes later, Lee Feixiuan's dance ended. Her breathing was slightly rapid, and her forehead was covered with beads of sweat, dripping with fragrant sweat. She raised her hand to wipe her sweat, but noticed that so many people were looking at her. The confidence she had when dancing was gone. She immediately ran nervously, hid behind Su Yang, and urged Su Yang to leave. The male passers-by who were watching all looked at Lee Feixiuan infatuatedly. Su Yang gritted his teeth and allowed the blood to flow. He was almost to death from jealousy, so he took his wife and ran away without hesitation. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 127. Only after Su Yang and Lee Feixiuan left did everyone at the scene react. "My celestial being, she is absolutely stunning. My young lady's temperament is so celestial. What kind of dance did she dance just now? It was so beautiful and shocking. What kind of toad was the man who took him away? He actually touched the little sister's hand. I was so angry when I saw it. This is a letter written with thousands of blood. Please give me your contact information." Lee Feixiuan's dance was very effective on the spot, and she gained a large number of fans instantly. 10 minutes later, a red Ferrari was parked on the quiet roadside, with Su Yang and Lee Feixiuan sitting in the car. "Su Yang, those people didn't follow, did they?" Lee Feixiuan said with lingering fear. "No." Su Yang looked at Lee Feixiuan, who was sitting in the passenger seat, and smiled softly. "Honey, you look so beautiful when you dance." "You mean, I usually don't look good?" Li Feichuan asked. "They all look good." Su Yang smiled and said, "I like it so much. When I saw you dancing, I even thought about what to name our child. I just know how to say sweet words." Li Feichuan was a little shy, glanced at Su Yang with a blushing face, and then said, "Where is my camera? Have you taken all the photos?" Su Yang nodded, and then handed the camera to Li Feichuan. Li Feichuan took the camera, watched the video first, and then smiled with satisfaction. "Not bad, the angle is very good, thank you Su Yang." "Honey, we are all adults, what's the point of just saying thank you?" Li Feichuan paused and said, "Then how do you want me to thank you?" "This is very simple, just promise yourself." Su Yang smiled playfully, "There is a theme hotel over there, we can." Don't even think about it." Li Feichuan looked at Su Yang angrily. "Why are you so repulsive? Wife, you are going to marry me anyway. Isn't it normal to do this kind of thing?" Su Yang smiled softly. "Su Yang, you have let me down too much." Li Feichuan seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly became angry, and her eyes turned red. "Ahem, wife, I'm joking with you, please stop crying, Su Yang reached out and wiped away the tears from the corners of Li Feichuan's eyes, and was about to comfort Li Feichuan. "Do not touch me." Li Feichuan suddenly shook off Su Yang's hand, opened the car door and was about to get out of the car. "What's the situation? Why did your mood suddenly become so bad?" Su Yang felt inexplicable, stopped Li Feichuan, and asked blankly, "Honey, what's wrong? Why are you angry?" "Su Yang." Li Feichuan's gaze fell on Su Yang and asked with red eyes, "Do you still remember Zhang Shue'er?" "Zhang Shue'er?" Li Feichuan's best friend, the two are almost inseparable, as if they are the same person. But 5 years ago, young Master Su was plotted by Su Jinghan and gave Zhang Shue'er to. Not long after that incident happened, Zhang Shue'er became pregnant, and the child in her belly was naturally Su Yang's. This incident is well known to everyone, but the Zhang family is only a small family, even a subsidiary family of the Su family. Therefore, the Zhang family did not dare to confront the Su family head-on. In the end, they got the benefits of the Su family and left Jiangbei with Zhang Shue'er, who had aborted the child. From then on, Jiangbei lost a small family, and at the same time, it lost a beautiful woman who was as famous as Li Feichuan. No wonder Li Feichuan was suddenly angry. It turned out that she was thinking of Zhang Shue'er. "Wife. Of course I remember Zhang Shue'er." Su Yang met Li Feichuan's gaze and explained, "But what happened back then was not of my own free will. That day at the nightclub, you also heard what Su Jinghan said. That incident was planned by him, and I also fell into his trap." Su Yang smiled bitterly and said, "In the final analysis, I am also the victim of this incident. But Zhang Shue'er was insulted by you and became pregnant afterwards. This is a fact." Li Feichuan gritted her teeth. "I know." Su Yang did not deny it, and then said, "I am explaining this not to shirk responsibility. I just want to make the problem clear and don't want to make you sad. If I did this subjectively, then I'm sorry to you, but I didn't have any consciousness at that time. I was wrong, but I was not wrong either," Su Yang said seriously. Li Feichuan felt a little better after hearing these words. 5 years ago, when the incident between Su Yang and Zhang Shue'er first came out, she was particularly sad. Later, Su Yang became a super playboy, nostalgic for high-end clubs and stayed up all night. Gradually, Li Feichuan didn't care much about this matter, because her good impression of Su Yang was gone, and she decided that she would never marry Su Yang. Then what Su Yang did to Zhang Shue'er has nothing to do with him, so why should he feel sad? But recently, Li Feichuan knew the truth of what happened back then, and also knew that Su Yang was not a playboy, but just used the image of a playboy to disguise himself. In her heart, the dusty love for Su Yang gradually unsealed, and she even cared about Su Yang more. In this way, the Zhang Shuer incident has become a knot in Li Feixuan's heart. Li Feixuan felt extremely sad when she thought about what happened to her best friend and Su Yang that night. She selectively forgot about it and pretended that nothing had happened. But things have already happened, it's a fait accompli, why should I deceive myself? Just now, Su Yang proposed to check out a room. Whether it was a joke or serious, it undoubtedly touched the most fragile chord in Li Feixuan's heart. Therefore, the emotions she had stored up for a long time exploded. But thinking about it carefully, Su Yang did not do anything wrong. He couldn't help himself at the beginning, and there was no need for him to hold on to the past. Li Feixuan grew up in a big family. She was used to seeing men with 3 wives and 4 concubines. The red flags at home never fell and colorful flags fluttered outside. She had seen this kind of thing so often that she had become accustomed to it, so she did not pursue what Su Yang had done in the club over the years. Whether he was just pretending or actually looking for a woman in the club, Li Feixuan didn't care. Men, this kind of thing is normal. But what she cares about is that Su Yang and her best friend, it's like a stuck in her throat. Su Yang, now that the matter is out of the way, I don't have to pursue the past matters, but now, I need a promise from you at this time, Li Feixuan said seriously. What promise? I don't care how many good sisters you will have in the future, but I must be the most important one in your heart. Li Feixuan gritted her teeth and said, also, if your women want to be with you, they must get my consent. You can't secretly find a mistress without telling me. Honey, I think you are completely over-worrying. Su Yang said righteously, I am not the kind of person who is carefree at all. I only love you in my life. In my eyes, other women are just pink skeletons and not worth mentioning. Glib. Concubine Li gave Su Yang a blank look and then said, don't try to avoid the question. Can you agree to what I say? Yes, of course, Su Yang responded. That's pretty much it. Li Feixuan felt much better when she heard Su Yang's reply, and then said calmly, Su Yang, don't say that I bully you. I forced you to make a decision just now. Now you can ask me a more private question from a girl. I will answer you. Really, any question is okay, Su Yang said with a playful smile. Real? Li Feixuan gritted her teeth. She had already guessed that Su Yang was going to ask some evil questions, but she still nodded. She had no choice but to say it after all. But Su Yang's next question made her look stunned, and she was stunned. Honey, how do you disassemble the tracks of the Langxiang excavator? Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 128. Excavator. Track. How to disassemble. I am a girl, and you ask me how to disassemble the tracks of an excavator? Li Feixuan was dumbfounded. After realizing it, she gritted her teeth and said, what is this? Is this a private issue for girls? Don't you always answer my questions, Su Yang said seriously. Honey, how did you disassemble it? I've never driven an excavator, how do I know? Li Feixuan said with a dark face. Su Yang, you are teasing me on purpose, right? Ha ha. Su Yang smiled, and then said, honey, I am a relatively knowledgeable person, so I won't ask you questions. If you feel that you owe me for forcing me to make a decision, just kiss me. You are shameless. After being interrupted by the excavator problem, Li Feixuan apparently forgot about her previous unhappiness. She rolled her eyes angrily at Su Yang, then came over and kissed Su Yang on the left cheek. We're at the head office now. No. Su Yang shook his head and said, I asked you to kiss me, but I didn't ask you to kiss my left cheek. You kissed me in the wrong place. That's really troublesome. Where do you want me to kiss you? Of course it's here. Su Yang pointed to his right cheek and said. Good. Li Feixuan didn't hesitate, she leaned over to touch Su Yang's face, kissed Su Yang's right cheek, and quickly straightened her body. This was her first time kissing a boy. Her heart was beating wildly with excitement, and her face was red and hot. This feeling is so amazing. Yes, not bad. Su Yang wiped the saliva from his face, and then said, honey, this is the right kiss, but you kissed me by mistake just now. I have to kiss you back, otherwise I will suffer a loss. With that said, Su Yang leaned over and kissed Li Feixuan directly on the forehead. It smells good and feels so comfortable. Su Yang's face is full of intoxication and he can't help but swallow his saliva. Bringing one like this. Are you so serious? No, if you are serious, I must be serious too. Li Feixuan was unhappy and gritted her teeth and said, Su Yang, I kissed you by mistake just now. I kissed your left cheek. Why do you kiss my forehead? I want to kiss you back. After she finished speaking, Li Feixuan chirped again and kissed Su Yang's forehead. Okay, we kissed each other on the forehead, but you still owe me a kiss on the other side of your cheek. Bah! Su Yang kissed Li Feixuan again. What? I kissed you on the left side of your face near your mouth. Why are you kissing me near your ear? Bah! Li Feixuan kissed Su Yang again. In this way, the two of them were fussing over each other and kissing each other, looking quite silly. However, how many men and women in love are smart? Well, the two were kissing, and suddenly their lips touched. Then Su Yang and Li Feixuan were stunned, and their eyes met. At this moment, time seemed to stand still. It was quiet in the car, and there was the rustling of leaves in the wind outside. A long time passed. Li Feixuan reacted and hurriedly pulled away and sat aside, her face as red as a ripe red apple. Recalling her actions with Su Yang just now, Li Feixuan was so shy that she wished she could find a crack in the ground and crawl in. Su Yang. Concubine Li Xian gathered the hair that was scattered in front of her forehead and said in a panic, Take me home. I want to edit the video I took today and upload it to the official account of the training class. Okay. Su Yang smiled and agreed. Later, he drove Li Feixuan back to the Li family manor in a red Ferrari. Su Yang, I'm going back first. After the car parked, Li Feixuan opened the door and jogged into the manor. Watching his wife leave, Su Yang smiled, glanced at the 7 o'clock direction, and then drove away. With Su Yang's ability, he could naturally detect that Li Chunfeng was in the dark. Su Yang noticed it when he came to pick up Li Feixuan, but he didn't point it out and still pretended not to know this time. After Su Yang left, Li Chunfeng appeared. He took out his cell phone, glanced at the time, and analyzed, 1 hour. Su Yang just took Feixuan out for an hour. Excluding the time on the road, it only lasted a few dozen minutes. It took me all night the last few times, but this time it only lasted for tens of minutes. Moreover, the way concubine Xian walks seems relaxed and stress-free. Finally, Li Chunfeng came to the conclusion, Su Yang, this is no longer possible. It's no wonder that as an ordinary person, no matter how experienced he is, his body can't handle it if he does it every night. Besides, Su Yang is a super playboy and has been addicted to high-end clubs for many years. I'm afraid his body has been drained long ago. Li Chunfeng's face was full of worry, this is not okay. His body is not only related to my granddaughter's future happiness, but also to my great-grandson. We must not let him collapse. Tomorrow morning we must find Su Yang, give him the magic pill, teach him martial arts, and strengthen his body. After making up his mind, Li Chunfeng quickly disappeared. It was already late at night when Su Yang drove home. He sat cross-legged and quickly entered a state of cultivation. Unknowingly, the next day came. Early in the morning, he received a call from his father. Su Yang, let me tell you some good news. Your boy will soon become an ancient warrior. Su Shenbing smiled happily on the phone. Su Yang paused and asked doubtfully, Dad, what do you mean? You know Li Chunfeng, he is Fei Xian's grandfather. The Li family has an heirloom called the Tongshen pill. If an ordinary person takes it, he can instantly transform into an ancient warrior. This pill is in Li Chunfeng's hand. Su Shenbing smiled and said, now, he has decided to give you the magic pill. He is on his way to the riverside villa now. The head of the Li family not only gives you pills, but also plans to teach you martial arts. With his guidance, your future will be bright. Su Shenbing said excitedly, perhaps, you can step into the realm of Huajin in your lifetime. The realm of transforming energy. Still have time to live? Su Yang smiled, but said on the surface, Dad, is this magic pill reliable? Grandpa Li hates me. Does he want to poison me? You brat, what are you thinking about? The head of the Li family wants to kill you, and he goes to great lengths to do so. You can die just by moving a finger. Su Shenbing warned, this time you are a blessing in disguise. You must cooperate with the Li family master and don't pull any tricks. All right. Su Yang nodded, and then asked knowingly, Dad, where have you and Grandpa been? Why haven't I seen you in the past 2 days? Haha, your grandpa and I are at the Jimin Black Market. We plan to find Uncle Xiantian and have a few drinks with him to enhance our relationship. Su Shenbing did not hide anything. Uncle Xiantian. When Su Yang heard this, he immediately showed a wry smile. You bastard, Su Xiantian is my uncle. You can't call me Uncle Xiantian. You're inferior. You should call me Grandpa Xiantian, Su Shenbing said seriously. Grandfather? Am I my own grandfather? Su Yang smiled bitterly, and then said casually, Dad, is the Jimin Black Market prosperous? I want to see it too. What are you doing here? This is where ancient warriors trade. You're a loser. Are you here to make yourself look embarrassed? Su Shenbing first dismissed Su Yang's thoughts, and then said, Hey, your grandfather and I have been waiting for 2 days, and we don't know when Uncle Xiantian will come to the Jimin Black Market. Hearing this, Su Yang showed a strange expression. Dad, why don't you understand? If I don't go to the Jimin Black Market, you will never be able to wait for your Uncle Xiantian. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 129. Okay, Su Yang, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. You must remember to cooperate with Master Li. At this time, Su Shenbing's voice rang on the phone. I'm warning you, the head of the Li family has a very good relationship with your grandfather. If you make him unhappy and he beats you, no one can save you, not even a woman help you. You'd better be wiser. After being reminded again, Su Shenbing hung up the phone. Su Yang put away his cell phone, with a smile on his face. It's not a problem that Grandpa and Dad have been waiting like this. It seems that it is necessary for him to go to the Jimin Black Market. Su Yang. Come out and see me. At this moment, Li Chunfen's voice came from outside the villa. Woof. The white cat, who was sleeping in the room, suddenly became alert. Master, someone is here, and he is a master. Well, I understand, put your breath away, he is not an enemy. Don't go out, I'll deal with him. After Su Yang explained, he stood up and left the room, intending to see what the so-called magic pill was and whether it would be useful to him. If it is useful, he doesn't mind swallowing it. Anyway, don't give up what is delivered to your door. Soon. Su Yang met Li Chunfeng outside the villa. Now. Li Chunfeng was wearing loose training clothes and looked at Su Yang expressionlessly. with an indescribable complexity in his eyes. When he thought about using his ancestral magic elixir to take advantage of Su Yang, a bastard, his heart ached. Grandpa Li. Su Yang first greeted him with a smile, and then went straight to the point. Here's the magic pill, take it out and show it to me. It seems that Su Shenbing has told everyone. Li Chunfeng looked at Su Yang and said with an unkind expression, Su Yang, you are not polite to me. You will ask for the magic pill when we meet. He, you are Fixuan's grandfather, and you will soon become my grandfather. Su Yang smiled and said, do you need to be polite to your own grandfather? I am not a coy person. You kid, you are so straightforward. Li Chunfeng complained about Su Yang, but he felt very comfortable and couldn't help but laugh. Because Su Yang didn't treat him as an outsider, this feeling was good, which showed that Su Yang had a sense of belonging to the Li family. Su Yang, since your father has made it clear to you, I won't explain the efficacy of the magic pill. Li Chunfeng took out a fist-sized exquisite box from his arms and said seriously, but I declare in advance that after taking this pill, no matter what achievements you make in the future, if the Li family is in trouble, you must stand up. Grandpa Li, look at what you said. Su Yang said seriously, Fixuan is my wife. Even if I don't have this pill, as long as the Li family doesn't dislike me for being weak, I will protect the Li family without hesitation. Well. Li Chunfeng couldn't help but praise Su Yang, and then said cheerfully, take the magic pill and swallow it in front of me. Thank you Grandpa Li. Su Yang took the exquisite wooden box and opened it slowly, and was immediately ecstatic at the result. Inside the wooden box, there lay a grey-brown elixir the size of a grape, with lines all over its body and exuding a delicate fragrance. Certainly. This is nothing, the main thing is that this elixir actually contains spiritual energy, and the spiritual energy is even as rich as 20 energy stones. If I read it correctly, the so-called Tongshen pill is made from many old medicines. The spiritual energy in it comes from those old medicines. Su Yang speculated, then regretted, it's a pity that the people who refine the magic pill have such poor techniques. 10% of the spiritual energy is wasted, at least 80%. In addition, the storage time is too long, and 10% is naturally consumed. Now only 10% of the spiritual energy is left. If it were me refining it, I would be sure to bring out all the spiritual power of the old medicine. 1% of the spiritual energy is equivalent to 20 energy stones. If it is 100%, then it is 200. It can help me cross the 5th level of Qi training and reach the 6th level of Qi training. What a pity, what a pity. There was a look of regret between Su Yang's eyebrows. Su Yang, don't be stunned, swallow it quickly. Li Chunfeng, who was next to him, urged, I'm very curious about what realm you can reach after swallowing the magic pill. Su Yang came to his senses and held the soul-connecting pill in his right hand. He did not swallow it immediately, but asked with a smile, Grandpa Li, generally speaking, what level of ancient warrior can the soul-connecting pill turn ordinary people into? Now that Li Chunfeng has come to the door, he also wants to take the magic pill, so he must show some strength. But Su Yang didn't know what realm he should pretend to be. If his realm was low, Li Chunfeng would look down on him. If his realm was too high, would it scare Li Chunfeng? Therefore, Su Yang asked too much. It's hard to say, it mainly depends on talent. Li Chunfeng said truthfully, our Li family actually has 2 magic pills. About 100 years ago, my grandfather took one and instantly entered the early stage of energy transformation. Li Chunfeng continued, my grandfather's talent is excellent. It took him 10 years to become a martial arts master, and he has only reached the peak of his career. Su Yang, I don't have high expectations for you, as long as you can become an ancient warrior of Ming Jin. Li Chunfeng looked at Su Yang and said seriously, after my teachings, you may be able to reach the realm of Huajing on your own in a few decades. After you reach the realm of Huajin, I will find a way for you to make another breakthrough. As for what I can do, don't bother me. Take the magic pill quickly. If you don't take it, I will regret it, Li Chunfeng urged. Okay. A smile appeared on Su Yang's lips, and he immediately put the magic pill into his mouth and swallowed it directly. Now, Su Yang had just stepped onto the 4th level of Qi training, and had refined 10 energy stones to consolidate his realm. Although the spiritual energy contained in the magic pill was not weak, it would not allow him to break through to the 5th level of Qi training. According to Su Yang's estimation, if you want to step into the 5th level of Qi training, you will need at least 80 energy stones. At this moment, with Li Chunfeng beside him, it was not convenient for Su Yang to use the 9 nether prison suppressing technique, so he chose to store the spirit connecting pill in his body first and then refine it later. It's strange, Su Yang, why did you have no reaction at all after taking the magic pill? Isn't it uncomfortable? At this time, Li Chunfeng asked curiously. One word awakens the dreamer. Su Yang immediately realized that he was an ordinary person, and the energy of the magic pill was so strong that he had to pretend. Ah, it hurts me so much. Grandpa Li, my stomach hurts and my head hurts. I feel so uncomfortable. Su Yang held his stomach, rolling on the ground in pain, and tears were about to flow out. Well, that's pretty much it. For some reason, Li Chunfeng felt particularly comfortable when he saw Su Yang dying in pain. The resentment accumulated in his heart seemed to be released. Aren't you a crazy kid? You deserve to die from the pain of taking concubine Xian to check out a room every day. Who asked you to serve my cabbage? Now the retribution has come, ha ha ha. Certainly. Li Chunfeng didn't really want Su Yang to die. If Su Yang died, wouldn't the Tongshen pill be wasted? So, he stared at Su Yang intently, secretly praying that Su Yang could resist the effects of the medicine. About 5 minutes later, when Su Yanjian got tired, he stopped rolling, stood up and let out a low roar, ah. Then, Su Yang said excitedly, Grandpa Li, I feel so strong now. Success. Li Chunfeng was overjoyed. After hearing Su Yang's words, he struck casually, you just became an ancient warrior and you feel so strong? How strong can you be? The most powerful you can be, what? As he said that, Li Chunfeng noticed Su Yang's martial arts realm and was suddenly shocked, his face filled with intense astonishment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 130. Transform, into energy. Li Chunfeng stared at Su Yang in disbelief, his shock undisguised, and his voice was trembling when he spoke. Good. Su Yang thought twice and decided to disguise his strength as the middle stage of energy transformation. Li Chunfeng's grandfather only changed from an ordinary person to an early stage of energy transformation after taking the magic pill. Now that Su Yang has become an ancient warrior in the middle stage of Huajin, he should be able to gain Li Chunfeng's attention. Grandpa Li. Su Yang pretended to be puzzled and asked doubtfully, am I already in the middle stage of energy transformation now? Li Chunfeng came back to his senses, nodded solemnly, and said ecstatically, Su Yang, you are really surprising. I didn't expect that your talent is so strong. You actually stepped into the middle stage of energy transformation. Ha ha ha, I found a treasure. Got it? Really? Grandpa Li, I thought I wasn't worthy of taking the magic pill, and I was worried that such a good pill would be wasted, Su Yang muttered. Match. You are the one who is most worthy of taking the magic pill, more worthy than anyone else. Li Chunfeng said excitedly, giving you the Tongshen pill is the most correct decision I have ever made in my life. You did not disappoint me. However, Su Yang, you now have a body of true energy, but you don't know how to use it. You need to practice an inner skill. Li Chunfeng struck while the iron was hot, I am going to teach you the ancestral internal skills of the Li family. Listen carefully. I will explain it to you first. Then, Li Chunfeng began to speak some jerky and difficult sentences, as if he was memorizing classical Chinese. That's probably it. Su Yang, you must pay attention to controlling the true energy in the body and traveling throughout the body. Although my Li family's inner strength and mental skills are not top-notch, they are not weak either. If you don't have 3 years or 5 years, you will definitely not be able to master them. Enter through the door. Speaking of the Li family's internal skills, Li Chunfeng felt a little proud and continued, but if you study hard and practice hard in the winter, practice 3 nines in the summer, and practice 3 days in the summer, plus my guidance, I guarantee that you will be able to master the Li family's internal skills within 3 years. The fur. Grandpa Li. Li Chunfeng wanted to say something more. At this time, Su Yang interrupted first, then condensed a burst of Genkai and asked curiously, is this how the Li family's kung fu works? Haha, definitely not. You only listened to me once, how could you possibly master it? Li Chunfeng was about to deny Su Yang, but as he spoke, the smile on his face froze and his expression was extremely shocked. Done. Su Yang actually did it? After listening to it only once, I actually mastered the Li family's internal skills. This is impossible. Li Chunfeng couldn't believe his eyes, but after repeated confirmations, he found that the way the true energy circulated in Su Yang's body was exactly the same as the Li family's internal skills. Really, it's done. What a terrifying talent. Su Yang. You are worthy of being my grandson-in-law. Li Chunfeng stared at Su Yang with fiery eyes, and was so excited that he wanted to rush forward and kiss Su Yang. This young man really did nothing but become a blockbuster. Just a moment ago, he was a loser, the #1 dude in Jiangbei, but in just a few minutes, he transformed into a middle-stage energy transformer, and controlled the Li family's internal skills and mental methods. True to that sentence, the world is still uncertain, and you and I are both dark horses. Thank you Grandpa Li for the magic elixir, and thank you to the Li family for teaching me the inner strength and mental methods. Su Yang smiled softly. Li Chunfeng's excited reaction was as expected. My dear grandson-in-law, it's too disrespectful to say thank you to Grandpa, Li Chunfeng said with a smile, looking at Su Yang with eyes full of appreciation. Grandpa Li, it's better not to call me grandson-in-law. At this time, Su Yang started to take control and said in a neutral tone, have you forgotten that at the Su family manor, you personally said that as long as you are still breathing, you will not let me marry my concubine. Hey, actually I understand how Grandpa Li feels. I'm not worthy of Fei Xian. Grandpa Li, you said you wanted to break off the engagement, right? Now I think about it. Su Yang sighed and said, since Grandpa Li is so resistant to me announcing my marriage to my concubine, then the engagement should be terminated. Do not. Who said I resisted? I didn't resist, really. Li Chunfeng suddenly became anxious and said quickly, my good grandson-in-law, Grandpa was joking with you at that time. You must not cancel the engagement. What a joke. Now Su Yang is a unique genius, even more terrifying than those geniuses from the ancient martial arts sect. Such a young talent is undoubtedly the best son-in-law of the Li family and must not be let go. It turned out to be a joke. Su Yang looked at Li Chunfeng and said, but what if I take it seriously? Su Yang, my dear grandson-in-law, my grandfather had a bad attitude that day. Please calm down. Li Chunfeng continued in an almost pleading tone, actually, I know that you have been smart since you were a child. It was Sukinkan who failed to teach you well, so I took the initiative to teach you. Su Yang, please continue to be my grandson-in-law, I will definitely train you to become a super master. Haha. When Su Yang saw that it was almost done, he smiled softly and said, Grandpa Li, I am also joking with you. Concubine Xian and I are in love. I will not marry anyone but her in this life. You boy. Li Chunfeng reacted immediately, raised his hand, and wanted to teach Su Yang angrily, but then he thought of Su Yang's talent, but reluctantly hid him. Instead, he patted Su Yang on the shoulder and smiled happily, "Haha, Su Yang, I feel relieved with your words. Grandpa Li." Su Yang smiled and then said, "I don't know why, but I feel so tired now and suddenly want to rest." The implication is that an eviction order has been issued. There is still a magic pill in Su Yang's body, which must be refined as soon as possible. But Li Chunfeng said, "It's normal. You have just stepped into the realm of Huajin and learned the internal skills and mental methods, so you will naturally feel tired. Well, you go to your room and rest for a while, and I will escort you in the living room below." Li Chunfeng continued, "After you have rested, I will take you to find Sukinkan and Su Shenbing, let them see your changes, they will definitely be shocked, haha." With that said, Li Chunfeng walked directly into the villa regardless of whether Su Yangtong agreed or not. Su Yang showed a wry smile and followed closely behind. With his current ability, he could completely condense a spiritual energy barrier to cover up the spiritual energy fluctuations generated during his practice, so he did not prevent Li Chunfeng from entering the villa. Next, Li Chunfeng sat cross-legged on the sofa in the living room, while Su Yang returned to his room on the third floor to refine the magic pill. Unknowingly, it was getting dark, and Su Yang also successfully refined the Tongshen Dan, making the fourth level of Qi training more stable. According to preliminary estimates, with another 80 energy stones, you can reach the fifth level of Qi refining. "Su Yang, have you rested well?" I asked before. "Sukinkan and Su Shenbing are in the Jimen black market. I will take you to find them." At this time, Li Chunfen's voice came from outside the room. Su Yang has been in the Su family for so many years and is still a loser, but with just a little training, he has become a master of strength and a young talent. Li Chunfeng had been bickering with Sukinkan all his life, and he had to show off this matter to Sukinkan.